This is Mists of Akuma Trade War, an adventure path for characters 3rd to 12th level. It is 338 pages, and this is the 5e version. Although the vast majority, like 85% of material for the Shadow of the Demon Lurker version, is already done and ready to go. Mists of Akuma is an Eastern fantasy noir steampunk setting, but we very specifically designed it so that you can pull out the steampunk if you are not down with steampunk. Here we've got a summary for each adventure and the connections in between. And there's Hononori Keep, our ultimate destination. And here is the very large table of contents. Before we get into the adventure, these are the different factions which the PCs are likely to become allied with throughout the adventure. And then here's our page for random encounters, because this will take you all over the continent of Soberin, he said, as he did not reach the page he should have already had prepared to turn to. Ha! So yeah, you're going to be going all over that map. Scourge of Orobashi Temple is about the town of Shibai, which normally is not troubled by the Mists of Akuma, but as of late has been getting some of the primordial fog. The Mists of Akuma transforms people, so it strips them of their dignity and then changes them into a Dedo Oni, which are these fast zombies, essentially. They are terrifying and just barely smart enough to be dangerous. This is kind of a dungeon crawling adventure / mystery, and as you uncover what's happened, you go through Robaishita Temple and discover there is a dungeon beneath the place where all these monks were living in solitude, studying scrolls and such. And you fight the first of the Mubo brothers, which becomes a bit of a theme the further you go on. You encounter your first Yurikotira warrior, and you fight a lot of Tsukumogami, which shorthand are mimics. We'll just do shorthand for that today. There's Fuko and Fuko Unbound, because he gets more powerful after he, well, I could ruin it. So then you head east. It's during the winter, so it's cold. You hear rumors about these humans wearing Yurikotira armor, and fight another nature demon, Kumorui, and another Mubo brother who works the PCs into a long kill box that he picks them off with a sniper rifle. And then you meet the Iron Shell and start chasing after Shinji Rarenai to begin Feud Primordial. There's Shinji Rarenai. He's an Oni-touch sorcerer, so shorthand tiefling, trying to convert people against the Emperor. You break up a meeting in a warehouse, kill him, his little buddy leaves, and you'll encounter Yojimbo later on. You do have to chase after some stuff that gets lost in the mix, and you end up going to Nasudo, a river city in the south, where much more mystery occurs, and ultimately you meet the Imperial siblings, or two of them anyway, Kanja Kurosu and Shusho Akari. You have to head into Susumaji Cage, past some foo dogs, and a very awesome sequence occurs. This is a breakdown of that adventure, because it does get fairly complicated there, and I thought a visual would help. Yojimbo plays a part later on. Oh, this is a fun thing that you can get as you're familiar, if you want to have two talking heads bouncing around following you. Oh, and there's a rival party there too, yeah. It's a fun adventure, I really like Feud Primordial. Foo dog! And then you head north into the town of Seimon. Along the way you actually get to see these Saburi wearing Yurikotira armor, and start chasing after Shitai Tabaru, the Corpse Eater. Hopefully the PCs will get to him before he becomes Shitai Tabaru Unbound. Then you encounter, also there's another Mubo brother. This one's Kanitora Suda. He tricks the PCs into a warehouse that he lights on fire and tries to burn them all to death for revenge for killing his brothers. And then Erurimon, a major NPC that represents one of the merchant guilds the PCs will interact with. This is another type of merchant the PCs will interact with, but whether or not they side with him, well, that's for them to decide. That leads to Fangs of Revenge. This is the most intrigue-laden of the adventures. It is a... I should avoid swearing here. It is a very It is, yes. It is a great adventure. I don't want to ruin it for people watching. Seimon, this is an isometric map of Seimon, is in the north and starting to incorporate rail lines throughout the Haikasuru Prefecture to help combat the Mist of Akuma. And yeah, the PCs are hired basically as union breakers. Oh, come on, phone. There we go. Isometric map of the Tizuki rail offices. Hired as union breakers and kind of have to figure out what's been going on in this town. They will, although it's almost certainly not what they're going to suspect at first. Then it's on to the high seas. There's a way to shorten it up if the GM or the players are not about that kind of thing. But otherwise, give them their first chance to get their hands on Irukotira armor, and they encounter another nature demon, this one Mad Purintan, as well as another Mubo brother. This being the charismatic Mubo brother, he convinces a bunch of pirates to attack the party. Oh, Carp Smuggler! Carp Smuggler! Yeah, Carp Smuggler! I'm not going to tell you what the Carp Smugglers are up to. It's dope, though. Also, the PCs fight a longboat Tsugumugami there. And the Gensoso are the head of the Traditionalist army mentioned much earlier on in the video. Next is Cursed Soul, the Scorpion Samurai, which is a wonderful story. And takes the PCs inland, across some mountains, and then onto the island of Shinjitsu, I'm sorry. No, the island's Shujiki, the village is Shinjitsu. Where some very, very, very dramatic and what can I say without ruining it? The really awesome story reaches its climax. You meet the Scorpion Samurai, you meet his blushing bride, and then the mountain journey. This is a really short one. It just has to get the PCs near a mountain. They get a chance to sort of investigate what's been going on with these weird black torii gates they've seen across the countryside. And then, like I said, there's Yojimbo, where they might get themselves an ally useful for what's to come. The Ice Sovereign of Storms takes place in the Oni city of Tsukisasu. So the PCs have to take like a sort of mystical route to reach the city, hide themselves, and then destroy these magic circles that are imprisoning the true ruler of the town. And, well, then they have a choice and a part in deciding who comes to rule over that monstrous place. Oh, and I should mention, all throughout these adventures, the PCs are going to come across items that they might want, but probably shouldn't take. Mostly intelligent magic items. Largely weapons. And then the last connection, where they fight the last of the Mubo brothers, the fast one, and can finally face off against Kinzabutsu and Odabutsu, the last of the nature demons. Then the Revenge of the Pale Master occurs. This is the one that's in the core Mist of Akuma setting book, written by a module written by Chris Rippey. Excellent, big fan of this module. And for anyone who was like, oh man, I really like the Revenge of the Pale Master, I wish that story continued, I have some wonderful news for you, because that is exactly what's going to be going down once I get through all these freaking maps. There are 50 pages of maps in this book. So, Hono Noroi Keep ascends. Before they get to that, the PCs need to go to Omatsu Shrine. They learn a little bit more about the Crimson Vigil that stopped the Pale Master centuries ago, and deal with some of his monster buddies. This is a gorgeous mass battle ukiyo-e that I just had to include in the book. So once they get to Battle of Bone Keep, the PCs have to use whichever armies they've allied themselves with to get past these various magical and... Sorry about that. Yeah, so once they get to Battle of Bone Keep, they use the armies that they're allied with to get past all these battlefield defenses, like the blood moat and the bone mounds, which, cause zombies and skeletons to appear when people are nearby. This zone where anything walking in it gets blasted by fire, the corrupting zone that tries to poison people. And I've OGL'd the Battlefield Combat Rules and made these worksheets to simplify the process. So, once they get inside, using their allies as a distraction to insert themselves into the keep, they enter the Buddhist Hells. I've based all the different levels here off of the Buddhist Hells, And as they go throughout, they'll fight 4 different reliculums, and for each reliculum destroyed, there's a higher probability that their forces outside defeat the Pale Master, because the outposts and magical defenses are tied to the reliculums. So there's the hell of black ropes, where the PCs have to balance themselves throughout, where they get into the fight here, where it's hard to see on my phone, but I promise it's much easier to see in real life. But yeah, they have to balance themselves on the black ropes as they fight. This is the hell of crushing mortars. You can guess what's going to go on there. The screwing mausoleums, which they can skip, because I love giving the opportunity for PCs to screw themselves. If they skip them, the lake of blood and pus is much harder to get across. This has probably my favorite individual monster in the book. This gigantic flaming rooster, again, straight from the Buddhist Hells. The next level is about the burning black death cloud, and then the Hall of Unending Suffering, where they run into Muraoka, who they fought in the Revenge of the Pale Master. And at the very top, the Pale Master himself. After defeating the Pale Master, though, they have to survive the collapse of his keep, and I'm not going to ruin it, but it's a Pyrrhic victory. I've included everything in this book you could possibly need, so if you don't have the core Mr. Akuma book, you don't need to run this. This is a dope-ass handout. And, yeah, that's the book. There's a couple of extra character options in the back for folks who are keen to playing a Desperado Warlock Gunslinger, or a sort of inside-out wizard. And, yeah, custom character sheets for Mr. Akuma. Oh, come on, phone. Work with me here. Which I promise are not blurry. There we go. And, yeah, that's the book. Thanks for checking it out, and please consider pledging to the Kickstarter to pick up a copy. Have a wonderful day.